Hello again, and we're back again with another PS pod. After the first one was a roaring success, I'm joined again by well-known Palace Shield legend Ian Davis. Ian, good evening.
Good evening. I think legend's overstating it slightly, but reasonably notorious.
Notorious, yeah. Nicely put. The first one we got some really good feedback on. Can't thank everybody enough for the feedback that they gave us, both out and about at games and over the internet. So as promised, we're back with a monthly update. Just over a month, well, about a month into the league season now. We're going to look through the divisions, see who the movers and shakers are, and some decent performers. And then we're going to look at fixtures. We're going to look at cup situation. Ian's got some information on Interleague junior teams, and he's also got some information on disability cricket as well. So we've got a bit of a mixed bag tonight, but as we promised, we're going to start off with some reviews of some league action. So Ian's going to take us into the Prem. So how are we sitting there?
Well, it's quite interesting. I think I said on the last pod that Fleetwood will want to hit the ground running. Obviously, I've got a slightly vested interest in that, and also a financial investment as well as an emotional one. But Fleetwood have started really, really well. It's what Adam Sharrock and his team would have wanted. They sit at the top of the Prem. They've played 5-1-5, and they've got 59 points. Morecambe sit in second. They've won 4 out of 5. They've got 45 points. Great Eccleston sit third. They've got 43 points and they've won 3 out of 5. And then Thornton and Eccleston are just behind them. At the bottom, Kirkham and Wesham have won 1 out of 5. And then you've got Preston, who are in 10th, and Croston, who are in 11th. Some performances. I can run through some performances from some of the Premiership players. The batters, there are actually 4 players that have got in excess of 200 runs. Lou Smith at Morecambe has got 256 with top score of 109 not out, which is the top score in the high score in the division so far. Kristen Yearwood at Penrith, he's got 223, high score is 71. Declan Clerkin, I better get that right, of Fleetwood, possibly with the bat that I've referred for him, has got 218 runs, top score of 91. And in 4th, Greg Reynolds, Barrow, has got 216 with a top score of 103 not out. In the bowling department, Rhys Thomas of Eccleston's got 23. He's got the best bowling return so far this season of 9 for 31. Zach Corcoran, again of Fleetwood, he's got 21 wickets, best of 6 for 19. And Stephen Dixon of Morecambe's got 17 wickets. I mentioned as well for Jack Wilkinson of Fleetwood, who's got 6 for 20 versus Power.
It's an interesting one, Ian, isn't it? Because in our preview, we did say about the ex-Northern League sides, wanting to make an impression right from the get-go. And I'm going to say surprise, and this is harsh because obviously my knowledge of some of the Northern League sides probably isn't as good as some. But my view was that Morecambe had lost a few players, and I was wondering whether they would get off to a decent start because of that. But fair play to them, they clearly have, and we knew Fleetwood were really going to try and hit the ground running. So in a way, that's less of a surprise, I think. But nice, it looks a really competitive start from both those teams.
They've done really well, and like you say, I've been involved in sides that have struggled and then got relegated, and it's no fun, and you're taking no confidence or momentum into the season after. Of course, you've got a bit of a fresh start, and maybe there's been a bit of a churn of players and what have you, but it's a pretty good effort, especially from Fleetwood. I think it's a top effort from them.
Excellent. Well, great start in the Prem. So where are we at with 1A?
Well, 1A, top of the tree is Carnforth, fresh into the division. They've had a 100% record, 5 out of 5 with 58 points.
Yeah.
Maudsley, they've won 4 out of 5 with 49 points. And Rufford, they have won 3 out of 5, and they've got 40 points. At the bottom, obviously there's only 11 teams in the division. Horton haven't won a game yet, unfortunately. They've got 7 points. And in 10th is BAC English Electric Preston, who have got 16 points. They've won 1 game. I've got some 1 or 2 highlights performance stats wise. The highest score in the division is 165 not out by Mark Hitchin of Grimsby.
I know Mark can hit a very long ball. I've seen him hit a few out of the park on different grounds, not Grimsby being a small ground, but I've seen Mark hit a long ball, so it really doesn't surprise me that he's racked up a big score.
I know I've played against him, and he hits very powerfully and very straight, and there was 1 or 2 balls going over the dyke end last time he played at Norcross, so yeah, he certainly hits a clean ball. Runs wise, Carnforth's Chris Parry, we know he's a good player. I've played against him when he played for Torres. He's one of these batsmen, a bit like Nadeem at Great Eccleston, who looks like they've got so much time. Yeah. It's quite annoying, really. But he's got 237. Mr. Hitchin has got 228, and in third is Rufford's all-rounder, Joe Lythe, 141 runs with a high score of 67 not out. On the bowling front, Nick Fowler's got 18 wickets. Darren Nelson of Carnforth has got 16. Joe Lythe has got 14, proving that he can bat and bowl. Enjoy this. Yeah.
Also, a little shout out for Will Smith of Fylde. He's also got a high score of 122 as well. So shout out to Will. But Joe Lythe, we played against him in the Sundays before. Really good all-round cricketer. So not surprising to see him doing well for Rufford. And some really good performances in that division. Is it a surprise to see Carnforth at the top? I mean, I think we knew they were a good side coming in, but clearly stamping their authority early on. So, probably not to be I'm going to say favourites for the division, but they're certainly proving their mettle early doors.
I think what it does do as well, Neil, is that the decision that was taken in conjunction with obviously the Westmoreland League, that teams winning the Westmoreland League have got the option to join the Palace Shield in 1A, should they be in the boundary of Lancashire and not a Cumbrian side. I think it just warrants, that what they're doing this year. I think it just shows that what they can do. Obviously, it's early doors, but they look like they're pushing, and I know that they will be very keen to get promotion this year.
Absolutely. So good luck to them and everybody else in the division. 1B, are you happy to handle this?
1B, I've got some notes here. Chorley atop with 58, Netherfield 54, and Longridge 2's 51. So it's interesting that it's fairly tight there at the bottom. You've got, so they've all played 5 games. You've got Blackpool at the bottom, and then Great Eccleston just above them. Great Eccleston 2's, that is, and then Morecambe just above Great Eck. From a performance point of view, Cameron Fisher at Pemberton's got 22 wickets. Johnny Bass at our old friends at Thornton Cleveley's has got 17, and James Dunn of Chorley has got 16 wickets, with the Willow. Alex Howarth, Chorley, 257. Paul Willis of Fleetwood has got 245 runs. I think possibly some of those runs scored with a bat that are fixed. This isn't an advert for
it'd be a good one if it was.
Well, can't speak, can't lie. And in third, again, Alan Cook, Garstang, 176. So very well done to Alan, and that's the stats from the top 3 divs there.
I mean, Cameron Fisher's hit the ground running like you wouldn't believe. A 9 for and a 7 for already. fair play. I mean, that's some going in the first 5 games of the season. So, and I also noticed a certain Pete Haslam, 7 for 12, still doing it for the oldies. So, well done,
Yes,
Pete.
he's doing it slightly slower than he used to, but we all are. But he's,
Yeah, exactly.
I had a bit of a chat with him last time. Last time I was at F&B, and in fact, when Jez was there, he mentioned that Pete had said hello. So yeah, very well done to him.
Absolutely. Well, we move on to Div 2, and quite a competitive division by the looks of things. St Anne's 2s, who got relegated from 1B last year, lead the way. However, they have played one game more than everybody else. And the two unbeaten teams behind them, Ray Green first and Torrizone. So a really, competitive division by the looks of it, this one. And again, we said St Anne's might have been a bit of a false position for them getting relegated last year. Few juniors in there probably finding the feet. But it certainly looks like they found the feet in Div 2 and are leading the pack at this moment in time. No real standouts with the bat. A few decent scores, but nobody with particularly high scores. Bowling wise, Dan Fisher of Ingle, this certainly stands out. 7 for 1. Unbelievable figures. And Aidan Hickey of Longridge, 7 for 26. So two fairly decent bowling performances there. And 7 for 1. I think we could all wish we could have figures like that. Moving into Div 3, a certain Whatley first team lead the way unbeaten, 5 from 5.
Must be the captaincy, Neil. Must be the captaincy.
Well, captain ain't doing anything else other than captaining at the moment, and standing
John
slip all.
Abrams.
It's working for me, Ian. That's all I can say. We won our top of the table clash with Grimsby on Saturday, first v second. So that's put us clear at the top. We've got Grimsby. Then behind us, you've got a chasing pack of Grimsby, Kirkham, and Lancaster. Only one out of those we haven't played so far is Kirkham. So it's got a good division, some good teams in there, and I fully expect it to be a hard slog. So we'll take it as it is at the moment, thankfully. Some highlights from the division. Talking about doing it for the old guys. Derek Tucker, 102. The standout performance with the bat so far. And talking of some people who can hit it miles, there's somebody who once put me over Higher Walton Road. So, we know Derek can do it.
Yeah, Derek. I mean, obviously, Derek and I go back a long way. We played it against each other quite a lot. And I remember in 2013, he had the most runs in the Palace Shield. And I remember it was a good summer and there were decent decks. And he got loaded up by the Palace Shield dinner. I actually got, I think it was 82 wickets that year, and it wasn't mentioned at the Palace Shield dinner at all. And nearly 10 years later, I'm still bitter about it. But well done to Mr. Tucker.
So you should be, Tav. But yes,
I'll not be on this next. You'll have to find some.
If you can hold a grudge, you should hold a grudge, exactly. But well done to Derek. Bowling wise, lots of sixers. Nothing more than that. But Mubarak Munshi, captain of Grimsby, has 2 of them so far, and he's leading the bowling at this moment in time. Div 4, again, Whatley seconds, joint top of the table with Vernon's. Vernon's thirds, top on runs per wicket. Both teams are unbeaten, and both teams seem to be performing admirably at this moment in time. So again, it'll be interesting to see how that pans out for this season. Options with the bat, we've got Mike Hadfield from Standish, 124 not out, and Matt Simpson from Longridge 4s, 100 not out. So some good. One thing I have noticed, Ian, is that I don't know whether we really have this many centuries so far in a season. There's an awful lot of high scores knocking around, and it just seems on a season where what stood out to me is a lot of low team scores so far this season. There's a real good smattering of hundreds knocking around.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's not been a great deal of rain. We were actually involved on a Sunday against South Shore, where he got battered. To be quite honest, that was the first rain-affected game. We were we had to go off for a period of time. But they have. I mean, it's a bit like the county championship. I think they've been playing on decent tracks. It's been dry, and ironically, I know that the county championship have been complaining about the balls. I couldn't possibly comment, but I know that. I know that there's been one or two issues mentioned about that, but because I think there's a new batch. But no, it's there've been some really good scores. Like you say, people are scoring, 1 or 2 tons at this stage. It's a pretty good effort.
Yeah. On the bowling front in Div 4, one standout performance, one of our own, Hamza Tahir from our seconds, got 8 for 8 against Leyland Force. Hamza's a very tidy in-swing bowler. And that was at Wellfield, so it was on the plastic, but yeah, even so, 8 for 8, top quality performance.
Good effort. Right.
Yeah, it was nice. He got second place on the honours on the Lancs honours board. It's not very often gets anywhere near the top of an honours board, so that was nice. In fact, I think Cameron Fish with his 9-fer kept him off the top of the honours board actually. So it was a Palace Shield double that day, I think.
Really good.
Moving into Div 5, Bretherton unbeaten at the top of the division, closely followed by Thornton Cleveland's thirds and Fylde seconds. So well done, Bretherton. Cracking start to the season. Always a well-run little club, so they'll be looking to kick on and try and push for promotion, I guess. Batting wise, Ian Newman from Wyre, 106 not out, and Jamie Ashton from Bretherton, 105 not out. So those are 2 standouts with the bat. Bowling wise, Ali Nather from Whitley Woods, 7 for 17, top quality bowling. And always a competitive division, Div 5, because you've got the teams coming from Div 6 and who are on the up, and teams obviously dropping from Div 4. It feels like that real competitive edge in Div 6, that teams don't want to drop into Div 6. They really want to push themselves on, and anybody dropping down wants to go straight back up into Div 4. Always seems like a competitive division, and I think Bretherton have been trying to get out for a number of years now, Ian, and I think they may be making strides to. I know they struggled a bit with players last year, but I think they've recruited well over the winter, and clearly it's making a difference for them.
It's definitely a good start, and if they can keep that going, I think they'll be pushing us. They do seem to. So I remember when they joined, being at league meetings and what have you, and I remember when they did their presentation to join the league. So every credit to them.
Yeah, looking good for Bretherton. Into Div 6, final division update at this moment in time. And Wallerdale thirds currently sit top, unbelievably. I know we said pre-season that our influx of players that we had higher up was going to benefit the thirds, and that's certainly what's happened. They are benefiting, and the only game they've lost so far, they only had 9 men due to a couple of dropouts on the morning, unavoidable dropouts, and they felt they would have won that game if they'd had 11. So, however, there is a few teams behind them who have played 1 game less, who I think can overtake them if they win those games. But no, still for the thirds, sterling effort so far, and to be where they are, considering I think they finished 2nd or 3rd bottom last year. I think that everybody's delighted with that so far. Penwortham fifths, the new Penwortham team are running them 2nd at this moment in time. But again, they can be overtaken with the teams with games in hand. With the bat, George Jolliffe of Great Eck, 151 not out. Absolutely cracking performance that at the top of the order. And Will Norris of Ray Green, 127 not out. So again, more quality performances with the bat all the way through the divisions. Not often you see that all the way through. With the bowling, a plethora of good bowling performances. Will Saul at Vernon's, 9 for 20. Another 9-fer. Again, some just superb individual performances all the way down the divisions. Ben Douglas at Waltley Dale, 7 for 7. Ben's recently just played his last game for us before he heads back down to Staffordshire. He's a uni student. Signed off with a 50. So... great all-round cricketer, Ben. Good wicket keeper, good bowler. He can just about one of these people who are disgustingly good at everything. It's terrible.
Were you missing for the rest of the season then, Neil, or is he...
Yeah, I mean, we had him for the majority of the season last year. I think he left about early August, but this year's his last year, I think. So he's decided to go back earlier this year because I think he's also going travelling as well. So it's a shame. Lovely lad. He's also been helping out with All Stars and Dynamos as well. So he's a great lad to have around the club. So it's been a pleasure having him round. We just hope he comes and pays us a visit if he's ever back up here. So yeah, good lad. So good luck to Ben anyway. In that same match that Ben got his 7 for 7, Kuldeep Singh from BAC seconds got 7 for 25 against our thirds. And I've heard really good things about Kuldeep. The return message from our captain in the thirds was, no way should he be playing in Div 6. So it'll be interesting to see if he gets a promotion to BAC first anytime soon, considering they're near bottom at for their division. Because he's really has been in the wickets so far. Scott Taylor at Wire, 7 for 34. And Mark Mitchell from Charlotte St James, 7 for 41. So some outstanding bowling performances in Div 6, and again, probably belying the perceived quality of Div 6 with those performances and showing the quality of players that we have in the Palace Shield all the way down the divisions. So well done to everybody on those individual performances. It's really good to see that there's such a real breadth of both batting and bowling throughout the divisions so far this season. What will we get throughout the rest of the season? Most of the point. Where are you going to take us next, Ian? Are you going Sundays? Are you going Cup?
I'll come whip through the Sundays. What I will say is it looks like Walton Dale have gone from strength to strength, then, doesn't it? Again, it could be down to the leadership, the club captain, but seriously, your teams are riding high, aren't they? So you're doing something right there.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, I think we've been exceptionally lucky. We've had a massive change of direction in the first team, as I say, with myself going back up, but it was mostly due to a loss of players. But we've changed the mentality a little bit to be more positive and more of a team environment, and that's working really well in the first. Seconds are just riding off the back of that with some new players coming in who have performed straight from the get-go. So that's helping enormously there. And again, a real sort of positive mindset in the seconds. And it's, as I say, it's just filtering down to the thirds, and the thirds have just benefited with, again, new players coming in, a couple of players dropping down who would normally be in higher teams. So no, it's a nice time to be at Wantledale at the moment, Ian. I'm not going to lie. And you're seeing 3 teams at the top of the division.
And that's where your competition for places comes in as well, isn't it? You know,
absolutely.
People are seeing people doing well and teams doing well, and it's, you know, so there's a little bit more difficulty to keep your place, and it just breeds confidence and success, doesn't it? There's a few teams like that throughout the league, and I've got Thornton recruited, and their teams are doing pretty well. So no, every credit to you. Good stuff. Good to hear.
Thank you, Ian. Now, where are we at with this Sunday league then?
We're on Sundays and Sunday Division 1. Garstang lead the way. They've won 3 out of 4. They've got 42 points. Filed 100% record. They've just played 3 games, won all 3. They've got 36. And Penwitham have won 2 out of 4, and they've got 30 points. At the bottom, New Longton, sadly they've lost both of their games. In 13th, Torrizon won 2 points, but they only had 1 game, and it was a no result. So their position in the league is not down to them. In Sunday Division 2, in the West section, again, somebody with a team that we mentioned before, doing really well in Division 2 is St Anne's. They've won 2 out of 3, and they've got 31 points. South Shore have won 2 out of 3. They've got 28. They beat us convincingly on Sunday, I have to say. And in third, BAC English Electric Preston, they've won 1 out of 2, 17. It's really early doors. Lytham and Lancaster occupy the 2 bottom places, but you know they've only played 1 game, and Lancaster's was a no result, so you can't really read anything into that. And of course, Sundays, it's about development of young players, as far as I'm concerned, as well as possibly offering cricket to some experienced campaigners who are sort of in the autumn of their career, speaking as one of those. That's what hoping it is. In Division 2 South, Leyland, another strong club. I know they've got lots of juniors, etc. They've won 4 out of 4. They've got 43 points. Maudsley, again, they seem to be doing very well at this moment in time, and they've won 3 out of 3 with 34 points. Charlotte St James, they've won 2 games, they've got 30 points. 4th and 5th, Tartan Vernons, they're both on 25, so it's pretty tight. And at the bottom, you've got Greggy Lane, and just above them, Wicklow and Clayton Woods. And that's the Sunday divisions.
Well, I think there's no surprise here, and you touched on it there. The teams towards the top of the divisions generally are those who have thriving junior sections. Your Garstangs, your St Anne's, your Leylands. And I will even say what surprised us against Maudsley this year when we played Maudsley seconds is that in the past, I'm sure Maudsley won't mind me saying this, they've been one of the more experienced second teams, shall we say. And we tipped up this year, and I appreciate, I think they said they were a little bit shorter than they would normally be. But there was more juniors playing in that second team, and there were some decent players in there. So it's good to see that junior development. Of course, like you're right in what you say, the juniors are what the Sunday team should be all about, bringing those guys through. But I don't think it's any surprise to see those that really are pushing that side of the game are being successful in the division. So it's really no surprise to see that. But well done to those teams.
Yeah, junior sections, lifeblood of your club, aren't they? It's so important. I was talking to Gaz Fiddler from at Freckleton, which we played Ingle with Freckleton at Freckleton on Saturday. We got a win. I didn't have such a good day, but we got a win. But I was talking to Gaz, and we were talking about junior sections and the sad state of affairs that it was we've seen with South Shore and now obviously prior to that with Freckleton a lot. It's great to see some of the old Freckleton boys like Dan Fisher, who bowled very well again on Saturday. I had a good chat with him, and it's good to see some of the old Freck lads that are involved with Ingle. So I think that's really worked out well for everybody. Ingle playing at Freckleton, so good luck to them.
Absolutely. We mentioned that in the preview one, didn't we? And nobody likes to see any club fold, but if it can be sort of reinvigorated in some small way, then it can only be for the good of the community in the first place. So now, well done to everybody there, and it's, like you say, good to see some of the old Freck guys making a comeback as well. Cup weekend. We're into the first round.
We are. And I can go through the fixtures.
Yeah, let's go through this first round that's coming up.
On into the Mailer Cup fixtures. We've got these are half one starts according to the Palestine website. They are half one starts.
I had to check that as well this week.
Well, the first pod that we did, it did have the Sundays down at half one, and that was a mistake. It was. They were 1 o'clock starts. But 40 over cricket is a 1:30 start. So there we go. The first up, we've got Barrow. We'll play Fleetwood, so I've got a bit of an interest in that. Carnforth are playing Thornton Cleveleys. Eccleston at home to Standish. Fylde host Kirkham and Wesham. Great Eccleston will play Exton. Heysham will play Preston. And Maudsley are at home to Rufford. So that's a bit of a local derby. And given their positions in their respective positions in the league, that should be a really good fixture, that last one, Maudsley versus Rufford.
Yeah, as I say, well, again, we said when we did the preview, a local derby always adds a little bit of extra spice, doesn't it? Let's be honest. But like you say, I mean, Maudsley made an absolute cracking start. Rufford, with Joe Lythe, have put in some absolutely cracking performances. So it'll be interesting to see, as always with cup games, I think we've all faced it, what teams turn out in terms of, it's very rarely your regular Saturday side, let's put it that way. So it'll be interesting to see if both teams can turn out a relatively settled side. And if it is, like you say, it could turn into an absolute cracker, that one, as a first round tie.
Absolutely. I think, like you say, it all depends on availability. I know we've had some issues with putting two teams out on a Sunday. We managed to get through the by default, unfortunately, because Garstan couldn't raise a side against our twos, and then we played Torresholm, so we've managed to slip through. So we've got to find 22 players for this coming Sunday as well, which I believe we're doing quite well on. But I'm not playing, unfortunately, because I've got an appointment at Blackburn Cathedral. It's a bit of a long story. And I'm going to wear a suit, so that's
oh dear,
even worse. Missing cricket and not through injury, and having to get suited and booted. But there we go. God bless you, Your Majesty. So we've got. I can whiz through the Loxham Cup fixtures.
Yep.
Neil, we've got Exton versus Walton-Dale. You'll obviously know about that one. That'll be an interesting one. Kirkham and Wesham twos host Great Eck twos. Longridge twos versus Chorley twos. Norcross will play Blackpool seconds. That'll be a tough one for us, I think. Particularly without the oldest swinger in town. Preston twos will play Ford and Broughton twos. St Anne's twos, who started really well, as you say, will play Netherfield, and Vernon's will play Penwitham. So that's they won't have far to travel, the Penwitham lads, for that last one.
No, that's another local derby to finish with. It's a little bit of a pattern emerging here, but the old Factory Lane derby that should be an absolute cracker. Another one for a first round cup game. So yeah, it's already throwing up some exciting fixtures in the Mailer and the Loxham so far. So yeah, good stuff for both.
It's an interesting game as well in the Crabtree. Charnock St James will play BAC English Electric Preston. I want to say BAE Preston all the time there. Longridge thirds versus File twos. Our second 11 will be playing Tarleton twos. That will actually take place at Tarleton because we're at home to Blackpool. Penwitham threes will play Wyre firsts. South Shore firsts, although we know they're sort of Division 4 now, sadly. They will play Thornton Cleave's thirds. Vernon's threes versus Whittle and Clayton Woods. And Walton-Dale will play Forward and Broughton third 11. So that's a fairly big game for your twos, Neil.
Yeah, and there's been a few eyebrows raised on that one as to how a team 2 divisions above them can be in the Crabtree Cup, but it's just the foibles of the cup structure, I think, is the best way to put it in.
Yeah, I think it's difficult, isn't it? Where we've got multiple teams in different divisions. I think they do the best with it. I really do. So yeah, but it'd be a good challenge. Yeah, best of luck to both teams in that one.
Well, it's the first time for a long time that we put both first and second team into the cups. We've only been having the first team in the cups for the past few years. So for the first time back in for the seconds, I think they're ruined their luck at drawing F and B threes first round. So yeah, I think there's a little bit of just a bit of downheartedness at the draw on that one. But I'm sure they'll enjoy it anyway. And good luck to all teams in the Crabtree as well.
Absolutely, and like you say, we've made the conscious decision of entering both teams into the cup competitions. We have featured in the Loxham final. I know back in the day I've featured in a couple of Mailer Cup finals. So I like a good cup run. I think it breeds a bit of confidence. It gives other players an opportunity and a chance to shine. And it's competitive cricket, and there should be some good games there.
And back to a captain having to monitor his bowlers over the course of eight over spells. So a little bit of a different challenge from a captain's point of view as well.
Absolutely. I mean, it's difficult, as we were saying about squeezing everybody in and giving them an opportunity to play cup cricket. As I say, I think they've done quite well with it, but yeah, it's an added little bonus. I think it's an enjoyable, competitive, but a bit of stress-free cricket. Do we think? Because yeah, it's nice to have a cup run, and obviously playing in finals is a great experience. But it's not like the cut and thrust of league cricket, particularly if you're struggling at the bottom or fighting at the top.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. So that's the cup all ready and up and running, and we're good to go with first round proper on Sunday. Ian's going to quickly run through this weekend's league fixtures on Saturday and see if those teams at the top of the table can carry on their form. So who's playing where, Ian?
Well, Barrow host Preston, Eccleston play Penwitham, Exton play Great Eck, Fleetwood are at home to Croston, Kirkham and Wesham play Morecambe, and Torrizone play Thornton Cleveland. So the top two, Fleetwood and Morecambe, are playing the two of the teams towards the bottom. So there'll be tough games for Croston and Kirkham and Wesham. But as we know, anything can happen in cricket. So
absolutely.
Not a foregone conclusion.
So 1A?
1A, we have got, here we go, we've got English Electric Preston, that's what I'm calling them. They host Standish, Fylde Wands play Grimsay, Horton play Widnall Fold, Maudsley versus New Longton, and Rufford play Tarleton.
Excellent. Some, as you say, the Maudsley will be looking to carry on their drive, and Rufford the same, and yeah, obviously Carnforth wanting to maintain that unbeaten run. So let's see if that carries on.
Yeah, it's. I mean, as we get sort of into, I mean, we've been really fortunate with the weather, as we were saying before.
Yeah.
The real test will come, in the summer when there are people away and there's weddings and all sorts of different things. But as we were saying before, the teams that are doing well, those players won't want to miss out. Whereas some who aren't doing so well might fancy a week off from the disappointment and drudgery that I can relate to.
Absolutely. Have you got 1B there, Ian?
I've got 1B up. We've got Ford and Broughton versus Netherfield. Great Eck play Leyland. Longridge 2s versus Fleetwood 2s. That should be a good game.
Yep.
Morecambe 2s will play Garstang 2s. Penrith 2s, Chorley 2s, and Thornton Cleveland's 2s versus Blackpool 2nd 11. And I'm hoping that Thornton give Blackpool 2s the run around there, so they're nice and tight for a game on Sunday.
Fingers crossed for you on that one, Dan. Right, where are we at in Div 2?
Div 2, right, here we go. Apologies, that's one of the screens I haven't got up, but I have now. We've got Gregson Lane will play Ford and Broughton. Norcross Torrizone will be putting on tees for Torrizone because they did the same for us the cup game. So I don't know if we're going to get disciplined by the league for that, but that's what we are doing. We've got a good relationship actually with Torrizone. Young Ben Schofield skippers things there now, but there's I didn't see Big Carl Hansen because I think he was keeping for the Torrizone ones in the weekend of the cup game when we played them. So looking forward to having a small drink with Carl after that.
Very good.
Preston 2s versus Longridge 3s, St Anne's 2s versus Penrith 3rds, Whittingham and Goosenet 1st versus Burnham 2nds, and Ray Green 1st will play Ingle with Freckleton. So
it'll be interesting to see Ray Green and Torrizone, obviously the two unbeaten but played a game less. So yeah, let's see how the the league stacks up, the division stacks up after this weekend, and see if there's any unbeaten teams left after that. Div 3, I've got up.
Oh, good man.
We've got Chorley thirds versus Kirkham and Wesham seconds. Obviously, Kirkham on a good run at the moment, Chorley not so. So it'll be interesting to see how that one pans out. Grimsby, who are currently second against Charnock St James. Lancaster seconds versus Eccleston seconds. Leyland thirds versus Exton seconds. New Longton seconds versus Moseley seconds. That's a clash of teams struggling at the bottom at this moment in time. So one of those is going to come out on the better side this week. And we face Blackpool thirds at home. So yeah, a good mixed bag there, and we'll see how we come out at the end of it. Into Div 4, and we've got Longreach Force versus Darwin thirds, South Shore versus Leyland Force, Standish seconds host our second team at Wantley Dale. Always a nice place to visit, Standish. I haven't been there for a couple of seasons now, but I always did like my visits to Standish. Always got a good welcome there. So yeah, I'm sad I'm missing out on that one this year. Tarleton seconds versus White Coppice. Coppice are on a very good run at this moment in time. I think they're in some fine form, and I think they've recruited a little bit over the winter as well. So yeah, good to see White Coppice coming back to a little bit of form after a few barren years, unfortunately for them. But
really good news. I know, Chris. I think everybody knows Chris, but I mean, there was a time when they'd lost. They had 7 players. They were struggling. I turned out one time funnily enough, against Ingle on loan, and they were losing every week. They were struggling for players. So to see something of a mini renaissance is it just it's, you have a bit of faith in it, don't you? Then, so it's brilliant for them. Really pleased for them. Lovely place to play.
Well, again, it's one of those things, Ian, we've been going on about. It's sad to see teams go to the wall. So for a team to fight like that, to stay as an entity, and now be seemingly reaping the rewards from doing so, fair play to them from that point of view. Vernon Carras thirds, the other unbeaten side in Div 4, face your seconds at Factory Lane. Withnell Falls seconds, face Horton seconds. So that's your Div 4. Div 5, we have Croston seconds versus Gregson Lane seconds. Ingle with Freckleton seconds versus Bretherton. So Bretherton, top of the table, unbeaten, have a trip to Freck. That'll be a fair trek for Bretherton. That's not easy to say when you take that in. Penwith and Force versus Tarleton third. Tarleton third struggling a little bit at this moment in time, but then Penwith and Force have lost the last 3. So again, somebody will come out on the better side this week on that one. St Anne's threes versus Wyre first, and Whittle first versus Thornton Cleveland's thirds, who Thornton Cleveland's thirds are on a good run at the moment. So let's see if they can continue that. And lastly, fixtures for Div 6 are Blackpool Force versus BAC seconds, Charnock St James seconds versus Vernon's Force. 2 teams relatively in form at this moment in time. Vernon's did lose their last match, but were in good form before that. Great Eck threes versus Penwith and fifths. Kirkham thirds versus Wyre seconds. 2 teams in a terrible run of form. So again, somebody will come out happier on that side. And New Longton thirds versus Ray Green seconds. Our thirds missing out this week with the odd numbers in the division. Right. So that's your fixtures for this weekend. And again, the weather looks like it's going to hold. So it should be a good fixture list throughout. And it'll be very interesting to see if the review that we've done, if any of those teams retain their positions, and if we see any more of these superb performances, Ian. So we can report back on that next time. We're going to move off slightly from senior cricket now to junior cricket and Interleague. You are heavily involved with the Interleague this year, and you tell me that the groups for the each of the age groups have been released. So who we got?
Yeah, absolutely. There's been a lot of because it was the first time. A bit of background. Because it was the first time that Lancashire had run Interleague as an integral part of their player pathway. It's always been part of the player pathway,
Yeah.
and district had sort of fed into Interleague and so on and so forth. But we've kind of done away with that. So we learned a lot of lessons, better prepared this year. I know your lads have been involved with it, so you're aware of that. But we've had indoor trial sessions. This is based on player recommendations from the clubs, and we've had squad selection processes through a month of regular netting. We went to AKS at Lytham. So the fixtures have recently been released. There are some fixtures over some friendlies over the WIT half term, which is sort of next week, that we're trying to get sides together for. But in the under 18 section, the fixtures for the year are on the 19th of June. The Pal Shield Northern League, they're all Pal Shield Northern League
Yeah.
in our Interleague sides. They will play the Greater Manchester Cricket League. That's the 19th of June. On the 17th of July, they're at home, both of those home games, the Liverpool District competition. On the 14th of August, away at Wigan in the District, and at home on the 29th of August versus that information actually isn't there, but I'm assuming that will probably be the Bolton Cricket League or something of that nature.
Yeah.
The under 15s, we've got it's split into north and south, effectively a performance and a development squad.
Yeah.
Again, these are Lancashire sort of guidelines where we're trying to do this. On the 26th of July, the 15s away playing at Atherton CC against the Bolton Cricket League. They're at home. That's the south side. The north side, the development squad are at home on the 28th of July. Not too sure they're playing, so apologies for that. On the next games are on the 3rd and the 4th of August, both away games. The north will be away, and the south will also be away. So 2 away games there. On the 9th of August, the north side play the Bolton Cricket League. Not too sure where the venue is at the moment. 16th of August, the south side, they possibly might be at Eccleston. And then on the 24th of August, sorry, there's a few gaps in this, by the way, because they have only just been released. But on the 24th of August, they play each other. The performance and development squads play each other. So that's a new development for this year. In the 13s, 26th and 27th of July, the South are away at the Bolton Cricket League, and the North at home to Greater Manchester Cricket League, the Central side. On the 1st of August, the South side will play the Greater Manchester Cricket League East at home, venues to be decided. On the 2nd of August, the North side will play the Bolton Cricket League. On the 9th, the South side will play the North side, so that's a local derby. I don't know how to play. 16th and 18th, they're both away. I know that the North side are playing the Greater Manchester Cricket League East. 22nd and 23rd, the South side are away at Greater Manchester Cricket League Central, and the North side are at home against the Lancs League, I think that will be. The under 11s finally, 25th and 27th, South side away at the Lancs League, and the North are away playing at Tongue CC, know it quite well, against the Bolton Cricket League. 3rd and 5th of August, the North side and the South sides are both at home. The North side against the Lancs League South, South against Greater Manchester Cricket League West. possibly at Leyland. I hope you're keeping up with this, Neil, because I the 8th and 12th, I said I'd mention the Interleague, and I am doing. The 8th and 12th, both teams are at home. North against Liverpool District, and the South against the Westmoreland League. 19th, there are 2 games on the same day, which made it very difficult for Jez and I last year. But the Lancashire coaches will be the coaches and the match managers for
Excellent.
all of the under 11s games this year. It's something that Lancashire want to do. It's part of the Lancashire Way strategy. So on the 19th, 2 away games. The North are at Greater Manchester Cricket League East, and the South are at Wigan District Cricket League. Again, venues to be arranged. I'm not too sure if that lot will make it into the edit or if people switch off, but that's what's happening. Obviously, all those details will be available on the Palace Shield website.
I think
hopefully have some support.
Well, I was going to say last year, I've been some input into the Interleague with Don playing. I think it was really well organised, and I think it's great to see it clearly being expanded upon a little bit this year. Certainly more teams playing by the sounds of it. So I think it can only be good for the development of the juniors, and given that, like you say, that extra bit of pathway. Now district isn't there. I think it's a really well organised thing between club cricket and county cricket that still needs to be there in some form. And I'm just glad that Lancs have organised it as well as they have. And I said there was a little bit of trepidation after district went. But I think the Interleague is being well organised. So good luck to all the Palace Shield teams from that point of view. I'm Northern League Palace Shield.
I'm Northern League, yeah. We might have some Northern League viewers. But yeah, I mean, David Hopkinson has sorted a lot of it out. So every credit to David. He's got some good people in. We've had all sorts of different coaches in, and it's been a really good collective process. It's been objective. Abby Bates has done an awful lot of the work behind the scenes as well. And it's been a really good experience. The atmosphere and the spirit in the squads is really good. Yes, it's competitive, but they're all decent cricketers. You know, and it fills me with hope for the future, because there's some great players, really good players. And as I say, it's they sort of muck in together, and it's a wonderful experience for these young players. You know, and it's experiences like that which will hopefully keep them in the game, and who knows, go on to represent the council.
Absolutely. We're just going to finish now with something that's quite dear to Ian's heart, and it's something he's been involved with Lancashire. So and it's some information on disability cricket, Ian. So fill us in on this one.
Yeah, thanks, Neil. Yeah, I've done a little bit of work with Lancashire on diversity and inclusion, and disabilities cricket was covered. You might know that we've a lad that actually was on loan with us last year, a lad called Tom Wilson. Bats a bit and is a spinner. He's an absolutely smashing lad. But he's involved with Lancs and England disabilities squads, and he's asked me to promote disabilities cricket. I'm going to get Alex Diver to put a lot more information and certainly the contact details on the Palace Shield website. But Lancashire are always looking for players, and there may well be players in the clubs that are watching this. You know, that they might think, well, we've got some players who might qualify, and perhaps they can get involved with that. They're always looking for players. They're open to that. So Tom's asked me to mention it. I know that I think Tom's the only Palace Shield player that we've got in Lancashire and the England side. There's players in the Liverpool competition, Greater Manchester League, Bolton, I think Lancs League, I'm not too sure. But it'd be great if we had some more representation and players from our league. What he has said is that again, I'll get Alex Diver to put the contact numbers, but we've got Alan Foster, who's the head coach, and we've got Tommy Foster, the captain, and Tom is quite happy to talk to anybody as well. And I'll make sure that the contact details go on the Parashield website. What I would say is that for Tom and anybody who's involved with the England disabilities team who fly out to Australia to play Australia between they've got a trip between the 3rd and the 18th of June. So I said I'd plug that. I believe it's going to be viewable either on the ECB website or YouTube. Again, I'll clarify that. I'll get some information on the Palace Shield website. So you know, Tom was telling me the other day, in fact, after one of the games, he was meeting up with his little Lancashire colleagues, and he needed a lift to Macclesfield after one of the games. So yeah, funny enough, my granddad was from Macclesfield, but anyway, I was go on, I'll take you, and we had a good chat about it, and he just asked me. It's really interesting. It's fascinating stuff. It's competitive cricket, but it's wonderful. It's a fantastic thing, and I know Tom is really proud of representing Lancashire and England disabilities in the disability setup. And I said, right, well, next time we have the PS pod, I'll give you a bit of a shout out. So any clubs out there, I think we've got players that may well qualify, come forward, and it's a great experience.
Well, what an opportunity to have to be able to travel to Australia and represent your country, and yeah, I mean, you don't turn that sort of, you don't sniff at that. That's what a superb opportunity. And I hope Tom does Lancashire proud, does the Palace Shield proud, and yeah, comes home with some good performances of his own. So yeah, good luck to Tom and the lads, and yeah, as I say, if anybody has people within their clubs that may well qualify, don't hesitate to contact Lancs or contact Tom or whoever. And like you say, we'll get the guys in control to put something on the website with some contact details, and by all means get people put forward. So yeah,
maybe those details. I'm assuming when this is posted, maybe it will go on our YouTube channel. We can get some contact details.
We can indeed, absolutely. Well, brilliant. I think that's us done, Ian. I think we've covered just about all bases there. Great start to the season so far, as we've said, some cracking performances. So long may that carry on for the rest of the season. We might have some records broken this year by the looks of things. So yeah, some really good some good things to report on both team and individually, and also juniors and disability. So far-reaching for the second episode. So thanks for joining me again, Dav. I really appreciate it.
Always a pleasure.
And we'll see you again, hopefully next month, with more reviews of the Palace Shield. So thanks for joining on the PS Pod, and we'll see you again soon.